Hey guys, it's Kyle down here at Lunicycle. Today I'm going to show you a quick video on how to install the brake pads or do a brake pad swap on the Talaria Sting R. All the brake pads are actually identical on all the models of Talaria and Sur-Ron. Today I'm going to be using our Kool Stop brake pads. This is an upgraded e-bike compound brake pad. It seems to perform a little bit better than the stock pads. So the first thing you want to do is remove your old caliper from the brake mount. Now these can be really tight from the factory, so you do want to use a decent quality tool and then be sure it's fully inserted into the head of this bolt. You can see that one was pretty tight, and usually this back one's a little bit looser. Now once you crack them loose, you should be able to just fully remove these. Alright, once you've got your caliper removed, you do need to remove your old pads. Now there is a pad retaining pin right here. It uses a 3mm Allen key to remove this. And then your old pads should just drop out of place. Alright, old pads are gone. Now you can see if your pads have been used, the pistons are going to be sitting out a little bit. If you read online, most guys say never push in a dirty piston. You see you have 4 pistons in here. So I am going to grab a little bit of rubbing alcohol and clean these pistons off before I push them back in. And alcohol is great because it evaporates when you're done. Hit it with a little bit of air to dry it out. Since you have your alcohol out, it is a good time to clean your rotor. Rotors work best when they're perfectly clean. They'll perform the best and they'll also be a little bit quieter. So go ahead and spray a little bit of rubbing alcohol onto a rag and clean your rotor until you don't see any more mess coming off of it. So I start with the back side. And you can see we're getting some contamination. And then go ahead and do the front side. And then do this a few times until the rag stays clean. Alright, it's looking pretty good. This one wasn't terribly dirty. You'll see some which are very, very dirty. Alright, you go ahead and open up your new brake pads. They will come with a new spring. The little spring goes like so. So once you have your new pads prepped, it is time to push those pistons back in. Because usually if you try to install fresh pads, you won't even be able to stick them in here. These pistons really aren't out too far, but I'm going to go ahead and just carefully push them in. These are ceramic, so you really want to be delicate with them. If you are able to fit the pads into place, then I'd recommend pushing the brake pad itself instead of using metal on the pistons. But I've been doing this for years and I've never cracked a piston. So go ahead and reinstall your retaining pin. You can see you got your pads in place, and then double check that your little pad spring is the way it was on your old ones. Now to finish resetting the pistons, I'm going to use a clean flathead. You can clean this off with some rubbing alcohol. The last thing you want to do is get some grease on your new brake pads. And just go ahead and spread these as wide as you can. Alright, now we're almost done. We're going to go ahead and just reinstall the caliper. and tighten down 2 caliper bolts. Now these don't need to be as tight as they were from the factory. Talaria likes to go a little bit over tight on these bolts. So what I do is I snug it down nice and tight, both of them. I then loosen them about half a turn. And then using my eyes, I'm centering the rotor. And you're not really going to be able to get this on camera, but if you're looking straight down, you want the rotor right in the middle of the caliper. Go ahead and snug down one and the other. Now, with fresh brake pads, you do need to bead them in, or bed them in, I believe is the correct term. So that means you go for, basically just go for a ride at low speed, use the brake a few times, get it hot, then cold, and then it'll start to grip really well. So that's the steps for installing the Kool Stop upgraded brake pads on all of the e-moto bikes that we sell.